All right, we are at another coding session here of Ogorocious Codes. I am a self-taught Rails developer, and I'm going to create some content here to kind of document my process. And yeah, I've been coding for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. Lots of ChatGPT, thankfully. But today's video, we're going to be highlighting how I built in a feature to allow the option for the user to duplicate events. So I recently created a function where I was able to create recurring events. So go to add a new event. I built out a recurring events feature here that allows you to recur the events. And if we choose the dates here, I'll choose something in November. I'll just slap some times in here. We have some events that display here. There's no name there because there's no name on the event. But as that is going through, that shows, which is awesome. What happened here, and the use case that I ran into, is that I pushed this out to my live site, which is at wherecanwedance.com, and I have some people that are helping me populate events on these sites. And what they were trying to do originally, we're going to some older events here, and they were going to the duplicate event. And this duplicate event feature actually built out probably like 6 months ago, and it was only when recurring events were not in the system yet. It was just single events. And so basically I wanted to save the user time to take all the fields that were going into the events and just duplicate that. So I have a duplicate function here in my events controller. And so yeah, it's the new method now, but basically we're just going through here, and if the event is recurring now we're taking all of these values. All of these are information that lives on the event table, and we're just copying it all over. And we're also building a new recurring event here as well. We're taking the event start date, hour and time, and putting that into the recurring event start time, and the same thing for the end time and the start date and end date. So the recurring events table and the events table have different tables, but they do overlap. I guess we can get even into the model, and we have has many events and accepts nested attributes for events, and has many recurring event users. But that's going to get into other stuff, and then the image. So I had a friend, they were helping me put in some events, and they wanted to save time and not have to put in the image again and the dates and all that kind of stuff. And they wanted it to be recurring events. And the logic here is that I also had to give the user the ability to also duplicate event as a single event if they wanted to. So there was a fork in the road as far as the logic. And so with my trusty ChatGPT here, we actually now have an option here where I can duplicate as a single event or duplicate as a recurring event. So I'll do single event first. If I choose single event, it appends copy as it does here in the code. This is the code that's happening here. So it's adding copy parentheses, it's actually adding dash copy to the slug, as there needs to be a unique slug, and it takes the address. There's a single event, and I don't think this one had a particular time zone that is going to bother me. So let's edit the event and just want to make sure that's working. This is dummy data that I have in my local side. And beautiful. Oh, it can't be in the past. So let's go ahead and make this 10 for October. All right, so we have a time zone and we have a newer date. So I'm going to go to duplicate event again. We get a little modal, and the modal here is on the event show page. Thanks to ChatGPT, we're able to get that going. So it's just a bootstrap modal that's here. That is, sorry. Here we go. There's two modals. There's one for the artist page and one here for the thing. So explaining what happened here. Before I had a button to, and then I also tried a link to, and that wasn't working. It was generating the correct URL, but it wasn't going through. And as you see here, I also have a item here that's letting it know to duplicate as single or recurring. And that logic is going to help us deter which part of the duplicate function in the events controller to run. So since this is a single event, we will run single, and then that will go to our events controller and run all of this code here for the normal one. So it takes the copy, and there's a time zone, it's recurring, it grabs the image, event type, dance styles, descriptions, artists, and links and all that kind of stuff. So that's working beautifully. And the one that was difficult here was the recurring event. So with the recurring event here, I now have it to where it is, the JavaScript is checking the URL to see if, I'll show the code here. The code here on the event suggest page here, we have that at the beginning of my code. Here we go. So this code right here is checking the params to see if recurring is true. If it is, it's going to run the show recurring events field function, which is basically saying, hey, if it's true, don't display the recurring, display the recurring ones and hide the single event options. And make these attributes required, which is what I already had built before. And so now it took the date. We set that to October the 20th, took a time zone, took the start times, end times. We can change this and actually have all kinds of functions here to be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And I also have ordinal occurrences here as well, with some more functionalities, but that's in the other video that I recorded. But we'll keep this weekly for now. And as you can see here, if we go to October, we see that as we increase the occurrences here, we have the dates populate on the function. So this will give us everything that we need. The user can just go in and update the name and the slug as they need it. And this should also work to where the slug is automatically populated as the name is inputted, which is perfect. And yeah, we have a fully fledged feature that allows the user to choose whether an event is going to be a single event or a duplicate event. So that is my coding win for today, to continue to build the site and just documenting the journey here as I go along. Peace out.